Hello guys, welcome to my channel. I am Samantha the Introvert. Today I want to give you my personal review on episode 9 of last Twilight. I already did my reviews on episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Links are in the description below, so without further ado, let's get into it. The episode starts off when Day's father came. The father said that Night was the one that informs him of Day's whereabouts. He also said that he is fully aware that Day is blind and that Night told him that Night feels sorry for Day's condition. When the father mentioned Night, Day made a loud outburst, causing the people to hear, then demanding Mark to take him away. Later, Day started telling the story on how he got blind. The full story is that there was a time Knight would act very careless and go to bar and drink a lot and get drunk. This part is where I understand. I feel because Day is a famous Batman player, it feels as if Knight is just his shadow. But while driving, Knight wanted to throw up and Day was looking for a bag for him. But in my opinion, they should either stop the car and look for it or just let him throw up in the car and then later you clean it up. But Day took his eye off the road for 1 second and got in a car accident. They said the doctor said the accident caused his cornea to damage. He then said the doctor said that he will go blind eventually because of this, but they didn't take it seriously until that day in the competition. They then said because of this, Knight uses this to get attention from your mother and pretend to be a good son. But I honestly think otherwise because I feel Knight really cares for Day, but because Day was always shining for their mother, the mother never looked at Knight's way and see how much he worked. But now that Day is blind, the mother sees Knight and that she can see him as he is, and Knight can slowly come out of Day's shadow. And hear me out. I feel Knight really do feel sorry. I know Knight probably feels guilty for Day blindness. He must feel mentally and physically hurt. But Day doesn't know that. Honestly, I want Day to sit with Knight and hear Knight's side of the hurt story. Okay, after that heartfelt night, it's breakfast time. On then said that he didn't know that they grew up the same place as Pla, and they said he left this place when he was little, so he doesn't really remember anything about the place. On then said since Day's mother is a chef, she cooks a lot of local foods, but Day says she never cooks any local foods. Then Day told them his father left his mother for another woman, and that's hurt his mother, and she left the place and never came back. This subject was getting too intense, so they changed the subject and talk about food, saying the food cannot be sold anywhere else. Mark came and asked Day where he wants to go since they have plenty of time, so they asked Mark to take him to his father. They went and it seems Day's father is an artist. Day says he came to ask about how his father know about Knight's feeling sorry for Day being blind. The father then said that Knight always felt that way until that time when Day was fully blind and Knight saw how much hurt Day was and crying called his father. Honestly, I really do feel it for Knight. I wonder if he got therapy. I know Knight is very traumatized mentally and physically, knowing that Day is blind. Because of that, Knight changed his ways. He stopped drinking. Knight even tries to be a real big brother and try to be on Day's side and supportive. But no matter what he does, Day never accepts him and constantly reminds Knight more on how much of a fault Knight caused Day's blindness. So Day says even if his father tells him about this, he will never forgive Knight. So why the hell did you go to see your father if you're gonna say this, Day? After that, Day and his father got emotional and they expressed how much they misses each other. Because Day wants to know how his father looks like, he feels his father's face and notices his father has long hair and wear glasses. But with all this information, Day says he doesn't remember how his father looks like and sadly he can't see it. They started hugging and Mark seeing them from a distance. Back at home, we see Mark chefing up in the kitchen with his assistant Pla. When Pla's friends taste the food, he jokingly asks Mark if he's willing to work in his hotel as the main chef. Anyways, Pla mentioned about visiting the last Twilight Mountain that's on the book cover, but Day says he must go home tomorrow because they already bought tickets to go home already. But Mark is not stupid, he knows his boyfriend. Later on, Mark confronts Day about the journey to the last Twilight, but Day says the doctor told him he has 3 months so he can go anytime and he wants to go home. But then Day looked at his hand and got scared. It seems his vision is getting really worse, more of it's getting dark. Mark sees this and asks, but because Day doesn't want to worry him, he lied and says he's okay. One thing for sure is, Mark will go through any extra length or extra mile for his man. Then Day asks Mark to take him to the last Twilight Mountain. The next day it's time to leave and Anne and Pla giving them instruction on how to get around the area. Before leaving, Mark makes sure to say that Anne and Plum must make sure they make babies because the next time they come, they want to play with their kids. They gave back their book because Anne says that their guests must all get a book back. Like they're supposed to give back their book, like randomly take a different book and give them a different book. But they decided to give back this book because the journey of the book is not completed. They made their first stop at a place written in the book and took pictures. Each stop they make is from the book. Anyways, they made it to the mountain, but they can't find the way to get up the top of the mountain. They found a local and asked him about the mountain. The local said they're at the right mountain, but the wrong side. The entrance is at the other side of the mountain, but if they try to go to the other side, it will be dark. So it's best that they don't go because it would be dangerous. They ended up asking the local to guide them to a place to stay, and he led them to this place. So I guess they won't be going home. They asked the owner for a night to stay, but the problem is this place only take cash, which they don't have. So Day proceeds to tell her his blind story and the book, and she changed her mind and gave them a place to stay for free. Only because she actually knows the author of the book and he once stayed at this place as well. Oh, by the way, her name is Cherry, the author of the book name is David, and we all became friends. Mark then started talking to Day on how much first they did together. Then Day told Mark he wants to do one more first tonight with Mark. Day and Mark got to do their first passionate deeds together. They made it known that he don't need eyes to see. He can just feel his way all over Mark's body. Yes, Day, feel your way down low. This will forever be their couple thing. If they get married, they should use this. Hey, last night was great. They even gave him morning kisses. But I guess they knew it will go to more, so he stopped Mark. I love this fun moment for them. Anyways, it's time to leave, and Cherry gave them her last Twilight book with the ending intact. They asked Cherry if the book has a happy ending, but Cherry won't tell them. They finally made it to the mountain, so now we walk to the top. They paused for a drink break, but Mark got a call from Knight telling him that their mother is coming tonight and Mark must bring Day back now. But Mark says he can't and hung up. Mark tries to lie to Day, saying that it was Fuji that called, but Day already knew it was Knight who called, and he told Mark that to just forget about it and take him home. Mark told Day he can't fool him because he knows Day wants to go to the mountain and convinced Day to continue the journey at the top of the mountain. I love it the way Mark keeping Day safe and guiding him. They finally made it to the top. Now they asked Mark to read the final part of the book. When reading the last part, it didn't sound happy. It was not a happy ending. because they says he wants to see how the mountain should look like, so Mark telling in details to get they to imagine it. Mark went to join in on the imagination. Then they held Mark's face and says he wants to see Mark's face one last time. And just like that, Day's vision went black. Okay guys, that is the end of my review on episode 9 of Last Twilight. Stay tuned for my review on episode 10. And as always, if you like my review, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, hit notification bell so you never miss any of my videos, and I'll see you next time.